topic of the discussion and hit the issues you typically find reluctant. Remove the facade to fill the gap with some substance. We undermining problems, expecting to overcome it. Please hold the applause. We doing it for the cause. People follow culture before they follow the laws. We rather face the friction and not attempt it at all. Persistence will find solutions once our contentment dissolves. There's a hard pill to swallow for anyone breathing, both for folks who stay woke and those who be dreaming. We ain't slaves, yet we still ain't experienced freedom. What we need is the keys to access the kingdom. We're all in this fallen world trying to stay intact. I'm just a beggar, point you out to where the bread is at. So follow the breadcrumbs like Hansel and Gretel. Thank Yogi Bear and the thought engineer for that on Man Talk Monday. It's Man Talk Monday.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again. Man Talk Mondays. Derek, the thought engineer, here with my man, comedian John Yogi. Like I brought you out, man. You good?
What it do?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the building. We want to thank everybody for hopping on with us tonight. We got a great show for you. We want you to talk to us tonight. So let me do my usual. Let me remind everybody that this is Man Talk Mondays. It's an open forum where we talk about everything from religion to politics to relationships. But of course, we're doing it from a man's perspective. Keep in mind, this is not just for men. We want everybody to join into the conversation. Men, women, boys, and girls, you are welcome. We want to hear from you. Now, how you join in the conversation, you simply go into the comment section, leave your comment, leave your question. We can see this, but this is how you talk to us. We're just sitting around having a conversation, but we want to hear from you, right? So make sure you hop in those comments tonight. We are on all the platforms, a podcast. You can find us Apple, Google, Spotify, Spreaker, Bullhorn, all those different platforms. You can find our podcast, and we on TV.
You better tell somebody.
We on TV. If you got a Roku device or a Roku TV, you can watch us live right now on BS3 TV on Roku, the BS3 TV channel on Roku. We can go and you can find past episodes that we've done. Also, all the great BS3 TV network content. Got a lot of different podcasts, a lot of great content. You want to go check that out. Also, if you don't have a Roku TV, you can check our web link. We got a direct web link. You can find us at bs3tvlive.com. bs3tvlive.com. You can hop on there. You can catch us right on your computer. So make sure you stop by, check us out, catch us live on your computer, on your TV screen. BS3 TV, part of the BS3 network family.
And don't forget, guys, like and share. Like and share. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, don't be selfish and keep this goodness all to yourself. Like it and share it, please.
Right. Share the love, man. Share the love. Share the love. Speaking of love, we're gonna bring our esteemed guest on with us. This man hails from the great city of Little Rock, Arkansas. I need some with that tunnel music when they come out the tunnel. I need some of that for this man, right? But no, we got our great friend. He's a great, awesome guy. He's heavily involved in sports. He was a college athlete, and he's still involved in sports. He coaches. He does refereeing. So he's perfect for our conversation tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Mr. Reggie Love.
Reggie Love, y'all.
Reggie Love in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Reggie Love.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on with us, man. We appreciate you being here with us, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. Thank you guys for having me on. You know, I was calling, texting, writing the show, trying to finally get myself on this show. But I'm so happy. You know, I don't know who pulled the string, or I did cash app you guys. So.
Oh, you say, oh no, not the cash. No, your people finally got with our people.
Okay,
and they made it happen. The schedules finally came together. You know how it works.
Right.
But we got you all. But yeah, we definitely want to bring you on tonight, man, for the conversation. And so now we're going to get into our segment we call Man Talk About It. Man Talk About It. And no denying there is plenty to talk about. But we want to focus on the hot topic around the nation right now. This story is getting national attention. It was on NBC Nightly News tonight. Everybody heard about the tragic events that happened at a youth league football game in Lancaster, Texas, where an altercation broke out and Coach Mike Hickman was brutally murdered in the midst of his altercation by the brother of world champion, former NBA player. I mean, I say NBA, NFL. I get my sports mixed up.
You threw me.
Right. Former NFL standout, all-pro cornerback Aqib Talib. So Yaqub Talib, the brother of Aqib Talib, was the one who committed this heinous act in the middle of this altercation that happened. And man, this thing is like I said, it's getting national attention. It got real bad, real fast. This happened in front of the kids and the whole nine. Well, very tragic.
Some years back, my nephew was playing at a little league football game over there in Lancaster, and it was almost an altercation then, because we went to the game and stayed like a whole hour, and he didn't get off the bench. So we almost had another altercation over there, because I was going to whoop my brother for making me drive 45 minutes, and he could have said he was sitting by me in the stands. I don't understand.
Oh my goodness, man! This is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. It appears that there was one young man. The refs called the game. They said they're suspecting that it was because, I guess, Talib's team was losing or lost the game, and they were upset about it. There was an issue with the refs, and the refs were off talking to one of the coaches, and all of a sudden a fight breaks out a few yards away from them, and then all of a sudden you hear 5 shots ring out. And then the aftermath, everybody's concerned. Of course, they're concerned about the kids. This is a 9-year-old football game.
Well, I guess the crazy thing about somebody getting shot, most of the time when you take a gun to an event like that, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, those events been rowdy. It didn't just get rowdy the other day. There's always something. And when you take a gun to an event like that, you're looking for something to happen. Because gun is not next to your whistle. A gun is not next to your clipboard. It ain't next to none of that. You took that gun out there looking for something to happen. And with those football games, people can tell you every week is something. Every week, coaches never gonna be satisfied with losing. They're never gonna be satisfied. The referee never gonna make good calls. They're gonna always be excited about something. Reggie, if I'm lying, tell me I'm lying. Tell me, John, you wrong if I'm lying.
No, I can't tell you wrong on that, John. Because unfortunately, number one, most coaches, probably 9 out of 10 coaches, are volunteer coaches. And if I was a betting guy, I'm sure the gentleman that was shot and killed was a volunteer coach. It wasn't something that he was getting paid for. This was something he was doing out of the good of his heart to help the youth around that area. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying his son was a player.
Correct.
So a lot of times that's how the fathers become the part-time coaches. Is their son? They want to be there to kind of walk their son through the ranks. Because I remember my brother was coached his son's coach his son's football team, and it was, whew, it don't matter where you are, they're a mess everywhere.
I mean, you do something like that to give back to your community, and there you have your son, your 9-year-old son, and he has to witness this happen to his father.
Yeah.
And I think he left behind 4 kids and a wife. If I'm not mistaken.
So I think he had like a grandchild.
3 kids and a wife. Okay.
Yeah.
3 kids and a wife.
Is it really that serious though? Really? Is it serious enough to where you leave the house going to a Pee Wee or Pop Warner football game and you're not sure if you're gonna make it back home though? Is it that serious? Is that what our lives has came to where now we have to be worried and scared about everything we do though?
And you know, that's if we all play youth sports here on the cast here, you know, that's our way of getting away from everything else that's going on in the world when we're playing sports. You know, as a kid, you know, and you think about today's society, you know, you're getting death threats at school, you know, you got, you know, bullying that's going on, and sports is your way of getting away from everything. It clears your mind. You're just enjoying and having fun. Now you're going to a sport and you're going to a game and you got to worry about, hey, is a parent across the field is going to pull out a gun and shoot somebody. You just think about the mindset of what's going on now.
Well, I just think it's crazy, man, that guns are like they are. We, as a society, we've almost pushed everybody to have a gun. We did everything we could to make people feel so uncomfortable about. I remember, I never forget, I was in Walmart and this white guy was walking around with a gun in a holster, and I felt so. Yeah. That was the craziest thing I had ever seen to me. Because what if he just say, "I'm finna start shooting people"? And my first thought was, "But I don't have a gun, so let me start bringing mine." And nothing ever good will happen when everybody's carrying guns.
No, you're absolutely right. But you asked the perfect question. The perfect question. Is it that serious? Yeah. Is it that serious? And so tonight, that's what we want to talk about. It's not that serious. We're talking about the rise of violence in youth sports. The rise of violence in youth sports. It's not that serious. And now, like you said, you expect even if I go to a club, you know what I'm saying? I go to a club, you know, the kind of environment, you kind of got your head on a swivel. You kind of, you know, you don't want nothing to pop off, but you can kind of expect something to kind of get out of hand because that's just the climate. But a youth sporting event, you're not expecting somebody to pull out a gun and start firing it.
Well, okay. Now let me say this. There should be a disclaimer. Y'all tell me if this makes sense. Do you not understand how passionate people get about youth sports? Bruh, man, people are crazy about sports in Texas, especially football in Texas anyway.
Oh,
because they want to make sure that their son or daughter, whether he gonna be a player or a cheerleader, want to make sure he has every opportunity to do his very best as well as he can, and the referee better not cheat him out of it.
Right, and that's funny that you say that. I was going to mention that being on the referee side, sometimes you have to remind coaches and parents. You realize they're 8, you realize they're 9, because at the end of the day, they're leaving the game and they're going home and opening up a juice box and watching the old Thundercats, and we sitting up here, and the parents and coaches sitting up there fighting
and killing.
Yeah, fighting and killing. And you know, it's not, to me, like you said, it's not that serious. But what are we thinking? What is our society going to a place which you're fighting and shooting and killing at a 9-year-old football game?
Well, can I just say this? I'm gonna just say this, and I don't care if you don't like it. I'm gonna say it anyway. Y'all are losers in life. Y'all losers in life now. Y'all losers. And so because y'all losers, y'all put everything into these kids to help you win. Well, let me tell you something. When they get through, you still a loser in life.
You know what? You just said something. They put a lot into the kids because this whole living your dream through your kids.
Absolutely.
It's what we're experiencing in youth sports now is that really what's happening now? You have people that are trying to live vicariously through these kids.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's their next big ticket. You know, if I put it all into this, my son or my little brother or somebody, maybe he's gonna make it and we're all gonna get rich. And, you know, but they don't realize. Can I say it again? He's 8, she's 9.
Dude,
Yeah.
I live across the street from Baseball Diamond. Rain, sleet, 110 degrees. They outside at that Baseball Diamond. I can look outside every day and somebody's gonna be out there every day with their kids out there. And hey, more power to you. My daddy went out there with us because he went to grab some cigarettes and didn't make it quite back. But nevertheless, they're out there with their kids every day. And you know what? You can applaud that. But the more time you spend at those parks and stuff like that with those kids, the more passionate you're going to become about it. And there has to be a balance. Right now, we're trying to find where is the balance at. Because, man, listen, if you fighting and doing all that crazy stuff with these games, something's very wrong with that.
And you know, it's so you say that the parents are fighting because as a referee, if you call one way for call a right call, well, one team said that's a great call, but the team who's against, it's a bad call. No matter what, it's not a good call. Even though you're right, it's not a good call because anybody can see. They only see what favors them. Instead of saying, "Hey, these are kids out here. We're just teaching them sports, because sports is supposed to be about life, teaching them things to make them better in life." But you know, parents forget about it.
Jesse says all these parents are living their life or sports through their kids, and that's one reason they get out of hand at times. Because this is your last chance. You missed your opportunity. You got this kid, and so this is your last chance to live out this dream. Maurice says most parents are trying to live out the glory days through their children. Why can't we just let it go? Let the kids be kids. Why we can't just let it go?
I remember my daughter, me and my wife were athletes when we were younger, so we kept pushing my daughter to be an athlete. And I remember she playing basketball, and she wasn't the one of the taller girls was grabbing the ball, was swinging with her elbows.
Oh.
And I just remember being so upset. Now I was upset because I thought she was gonna hit my daughter. If she had hit with one of the elbows, she'd have knocked her out.
Yeah.
So I was just with her yelling at the ref, and then finally I realized, whoa. You're not going to get anywhere where he's a person just like you are.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. He's not going to receive you yelling at him the whole game because I was prepared to yell at him the whole game. I made up my mind. I'm gonna yell at this guy right here. I'm gonna yell at him the whole game. But then after the game, I'm the first person to go up and say, "Hey guys, good game." Because I understand they don't have any home games. But man, I'm just one parent. You have a stadium full of parents that's riding him. That's doing. I don't understand how people can be referees. They don't pay enough.
And you look at that incident that happened. Technically, the referees, once the game is over, the referees are supposed to go out get off the field. So those referees that were talking to the coaches from the incident over the weekend, they were actually doing more than what they're supposed to do. Once that game is over, they're out because anything that happens after the game, it's not their responsibility.
Lance says a lot of these so-called parents have not grown up yet.
Well, to Lance's point, they're not growing up until their kids grow up. They want because man, because most of us used to be some when we were younger. Most of us did. Most of us were really good athletes. I don't know if we were great, but we were really good athletes. And if we think there's a smidgen of a chance for that kid of ours to be great, and you trying to stop him, I gotta do everything within my power to make sure you don't stop it. Like, whoa, I'm trying to teach him. Because when the football and basketball, when the sports stop being fun, because it's supposed to be fun first for the kids.
Right.
I mean, so I want to know, and everybody in the audience, y'all let me know, what makes you put your kids in sports to begin with? Why do you even put your kids in sports?
Because we need a babysitter, because them little rappers get on our nerves. What time? I don't care if y'all got kickball, dodgeball, whatever it is. What time is it? Because I can drop my kids off.
So at what point does the tone change to I just want to get them in something to they got to be the next LeBron, the next Zion Williams, or you know what I'm saying, the next LBJ? At what point does it turn into that?
Well, once we see that, I think it's whatever they take an interest in. Red, you tell me if I'm wrong. Once the kid show that he's interested in something, and he seems like he might be pretty good. He better not be fast and running. Right. If he can run fast, we finna put him in everything. He finna be in everything. If he fast, if he running off leading people, he in everything.
If a parent sees some sort of glimpse of they can be really good at something, but they see the problem is, I remember when we were playing AAU back then, and we had a kid on our team at the time we were about 10 years old. He was about 5'9", 5'10", and he was supposed to be the next Shaq. In the 11th, 12th grade, he was still 5'9" and 5'10".
But man, that's a great point, though. That's a great point. Ivan says it should be to develop social skills, conflict resolution, etc. Unfortunately, a lot of parents don't have good social skills and or conflict resolution skills. You know what I noticed? If you ever watch the Olympics, they talk about like in China, when those kids, they give them away. They actually leave home. And the parents don't even have any interaction with them while they're learning their actual sport. You think China is on to something? You think China might be on to something?
Hey, don't they cane them in China? If that's China, then they know they're on to something. They are on to something.
But it's like you expect parents to be able to control themselves. Now you trying to preach and teach the kids how you should act, but then you go and act a fool like this.
Listen, and you wonder why the kids won't sit down somewhere. Right. Because the kids don't never have this particular generation don't do what we say. They do what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you acting a fool and cussing the referee and all this kind of stuff, what you think the kids gonna do?
Oh, you see it all the time. You see a kid that is overly aggressive or grab a face mask or throw another kid down, and you can look out in the crowd, and his dad is saying, "Do it again, son. Good job." And you know where he's getting it from.
They should throw a flag on him and his daddy.
Yeah,
yeah. Go get in the penalty box over there for a few minutes.
Wouldn't that be interesting if you could throw flags on parents?
Well,
now I know in basketball, if people in the crowd get too rowdy, you can call a tech on, you know what I'm saying, or get people thrown out.
But can't you throw people out in football games, Reggie? Can't you throw them out? Yeah.
You throw people out at 8-year-old flag football games. We throwing people out.
Well, okay, give me a story, Reggie. Give me a story of what magic words do they use to get thrown out, Reggie?
Usually, if they curse, if they say F or something like that, they're gone. And because, we're in front of kids, B, or we've been called it all at 9-year-old game. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wait, and you're a man, too.
Yeah.
Hey, I ain't going to be too many more of them.
Yeah. But here's the thing. The unfortunate situation of what happened this past weekend, it's like you said earlier, John, it's always been rowdy. It was moving up to something. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. See, and that's what people didn't recognize, because you can't have something that's at a 9 or a 10 every week, because it's got to rise higher than what it's rising. There's going to be 1 week where all it takes is one. All it takes for one fool to go to a game with a gun, and the call don't go his way. Because most of the time when we have guns, we looking for a reason to shoot them. Because if that's not the case, why would you bring it? Everybody's a little bit more intolerable when they have a gun. I ain't putting up with it this week.
You're absolutely
I ain't putting up with it this week. So now, why would you bring it?
Your conflict resolution skills get a little skewed.
Out the window.
When you got that gun, man, you operating on something else.
Mm-hmm. And you at a kid's football game, and you are at a child's football game.
Yes.
But now, I remember I was playing Pee Wee football, and we kids, man. We kids. I was 6th grade playing Pee Wee football, and the refs were cheating us because they didn't like our coaches. And I'm like, we're kids. But those of you who know football, you know when you measure a first down, the ball has to be vertical,
right?
You know, running north-south. They turned the ball east-west to measure for the first. This is how bad it was. And it's like, now we just want to play, have a good time. We want to win, but we want to play and have a good time. But man, they were cheating on a kids game. The refs, because they didn't like our coaches, they were cheating us on a kids game. Let me get Jesse. Jesse says, I coach my kids and other kids to learn to be competitive, the meaning of teamwork and social interaction, early stages of life skills. And that's what it should be about.
Exactly.
Why have we turned it into something else? Well, let me ask, what have we turned it into besides a good place for kids to learn?
Man, you know, it's funny because
Question of the night.
because we watch the shows. We only watch shows with violence in it. Mm-hmm. We watch all the shows, the Housewives of this house, and all they do is fight on there, act the fool, cussing. I believe that's what we've become accustomed to. Now that's a part of our life, and everywhere we go, we want that in our lives. Now, yeah. I'm not saying nobody has to shoot anybody, but again, like Reggie stated, if you keep going there, somebody gonna pull a pistol,
right?
Yeah. Especially if somebody could possibly, take advantage of you, because if the person is bigger, if the person is stronger, you'll walk away because your ego.
Right.
We talk about our ego get in the way, man. And if we got something, dude, we go there. And that's not thinking, we're not thinking clear. And we're displaying this in front of kids that we're trying to teach how to be social skills and, teamwork and all of this. How about losing? Is it a valuable skill to learn how to be a gracious loser? Because I think they were losing the game, right?
I'm sure.
From what I understand, they called the game because it was made a threat to a referee, and they called the game because it got to that point. And and then if you see the video, the referees were talking to one coach, and the other coaches got into it, and that's when the incident happened. So yeah.
So what has to happen? What do we need? Do we need police at the game?
And because if you think about it, when you go to a youth league game, you're just walking up to a field, and they have the field marked off and everything. It's not, and you just walk in the stand. There's nobody checking for anything. There's nobody saying, hey, if you have had this misconduct in the past, you can't come in. Anybody can come in and watch a game. I do believe we're getting to a point we may need security on the field. We may need to start checking coaches, because they're volunteer coaches, and you're not checking background. You might need background check for the coaches.
Dude, I'd rather just shut it down, man, to go to all that. I'd rather just shut the whole thing down. Karen agreed with John. She says when you get a gun, you want to use it. You're absolutely right. But dude, if it gets to the point that we got to do all that, I think you just need to shut it down. Chad said everybody wants to be number one, and that's fine if it's done in a healthy manner.
Do kids really care about being number one though?
Now, at a certain age, they don't.
They just care about what kind of juice box we got in the game, right. And are we going to a pizza party? Or do we got a pizza party? That's really all they care about.
You know why I wanted to win games? Because they would give us shakes after the game. Hey. That's why I wanted to win, because we would get shakes after the game. We'd go to McDonald's or something and get shakes, ice cream. That's why I wanted to win.
But see, the problem is, like John said, are we really teaching people how to lose? Because at the end of the day, you seeing your parents mad because, they arguing because you lost, and they doing this, and they're yelling at the referees as they walk off the field because you lost. what are we teaching these kids? Instead of saying, hey, you lost the game. Hey, this is how we get better the next time. Maybe the next time we win if we work on these certain things. That's how you teach how to lose. Because at the end of the day, we all get knocked down in life. We just got to learn how to get back up from certain times. At all times. I'm sorry, not certain times. All times.
Yeah. Jesse say too many say they want to win at all costs. But it's kids, man. It can't be all costs when it's kids.
I think of a great.
You can connect to your Wi-Fi network. Open the Google Home
I
app
think of
to
a.
connect to Wi-Fi.
But
Chauncey said, I last coached in 2008. It was clear to see then, and even more so now. It's not about the kids. We all, from former players, coaches, refs, have stories that are eerily similar. It's not a coincidence. So Chauncey said it's not a coincidence. So this competition has always been there. I think it's the people that have gotten worse. There is no substitute for good common sense, man.
Well,
Ain't no substitute for it.
I haven't said this though, and I think he was on to something. He said the parents don't learn what we're trying to teach kids in sports. The parents don't have no coping skills. They don't have no let's talk, act like some sense skills, act like we got some sense skills. The parents don't have none of that. So when they get out, because have you ever noticed the best place to hide for most of us is in our cars? Because we can be a fool in a car, and then when we get out, we're the nicest people unless you got something doing something that I want, and now I have to begin to act a fool again. I think that quote was perfect because parents, bro, we have like the last Chauncey said, man, I can remember stories when I was young about this kind of stuff. I remember we were playing in the game. And one of the dads, they were literally pulling their kids out of the game because they said the game was going to be meaningless. So the parents started pulling it after they were playing, start pulling their kids out of the game, taking out and the kids were crying. They don't understand. All they know is
Right.
I can't play.
Right.
And I just remember thinking, man, what is this? Are these professional athletes or these kids? Because to that point earlier, it is not about kids no more. It is not about the kids no more. And has it ever been?
And you're probably right. I just think we're dealing with a different caliber of people now than we did back then. I think people had more restraint back then. Now they were still doing foolish stuff, but not to this level, man. Not to you would have a parent that would complain, a parent that would, come to you, why you ain't playing my son? Why you ain't getting no time? Because he ain't no good. But that's a whole nother issue. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to work with him. And now you got parents who putting their kids on YouTube and everything, doing drills. And these kids 4 or 5 years old, and you got them doing drills and stuff. And so are you putting too much pressure on this kid to be more than just a kid?
Remember that School Days quote, School Days. It was School Days when he said, do you hate the devil? They say, yes. He said, well, the devil's in another team.
The devil is in that other locker room. No, they brother, do you want me to lose my job? I remember that. So y'all out there listening, y'all help us out. What do you suggest that we do to help with this problem with parents? What can be done? We've heard a few things, but what can be done to help with this issue?
And if you have kids, how are you dealing with it? Because I'm curious about how you dealing with some of the stuff that's because y'all see it, y'all dealing with it.
I know this may sound a little bit too strict. What about just merely having a session with parents before the season starts?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Greg, they're gonna lie.
They're
gonna lie
because they want their kid to play.
Right. Once we might have to be like the NFL. Hey, you might be suspended for certain games for certain acts.
But you gotta do something.
Yeah,
though.
If you get caught with a cuss word that comes out, that may be a 5-game suspension, and it might not be with 7 games for the year for your kid. If you suspend it for 5 games, there may be certain things we can do.
Antonio says sports are now merely about entertainment and not for teaching about the game of life, unfortunately. Right. Because there's a bigger lesson that needs to be learned. Listen, if you know what I'm saying, you 30 some years old, you 5'6", weighing 200 some pounds, you know, your kid probably ain't gonna be that dude. You know what I'm saying? He might show some sparks at 5, 6 years old, like Reggie said. By the time he get to high school, he could be faded out. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
you gotta weigh this.
The problem now is we have turned this thing into. Now, if my daughter don't make the cheerleading team, I'm gonna complain until they make all the kids make.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, if my son don't get to play, I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna do all I can to make sure my son play. Well, your son is 3'2". Yeah, but he still should be playing everybody out there. We seriously, we have no more standards. We have no more. The level of competition is gone because now we want everybody, and it just hadn't left the team part of it. But now it's not, which leads to frustration by the coaches, which leads to frustration by everybody involved now. And so if I'm frustrated with I have to play everybody and I want to win and I can't, now I'm taking it out on referee. I'm taking it out on everybody.
Chad say a lot of parents projecting success that they might not have had playing sports. A lot of parents think they have the next LeBron or Steph Curry. What makes you think that? What makes you? It's too soon to tell. Let the kids play, man. Let them play and see what they become. See what they, because there are valuable lessons that kids learn about themselves, how much they can take, how frustrated they get. And these are things that a parent needs to be watching to teach them off the field.
Exactly.
But if you focused on this game, you missing the whole point of what the game is really about. How many kids actually make it to college? I don't know if you know, Reggie, because you played college. How many kids actually make it to the college level? We ain't even talk about pro. How many make it to the college level? And
it's a small percentage. And you think about different levels. You know, everybody wants to play Division I sports, football, basketball, but everybody's not going to play Division I sports. You know, you may get down to Division II, Division III, NAIA, but some of them don't even make any one of those divisions. So, you know, and then, you know, sports comes with discipline as well. Are you disciplined enough to go to the next level? You know,
you just said it. That's it.
Yeah.
And if you're in these youth sports, if you're not teaching discipline, number one, how can you teach discipline if you're not disciplined? Let's be honest. You know, you see with these parents, they're not disciplined. Are they going to teach their kids to be disciplined? So that's another problem in itself. But you know, you have a lot of things to consider to even try to get to that next level. Not only being, like I said, being disciplined, work ethic, skills. You know, number one, education. You got so much.
Go ahead, let Chauncey do Chauncey.
Chauncey says, we played against coaches who, talent-wise, had some of the best players, yet and still recruiter, 2 freshmen had aged high school ball to play. If not for one of our players recognizing the player, he would have played. It's an ego-based environment, and this is on the lesser side of the BS. It's an ego, but because we're talking about parents, how much of this is on the coaches too?
Oh, it's and
well, wait. That parent that at that game know that boy old enough to be driving.
Yeah.
And you sitting there like you don't know. That Negro got a driving license. What he doing out there with them Pop Warner kids? Them parents, listen, you know how you know parents are undisciplined? At the graduation, do they not tell you? Do not say nothing until everybody go across that stage.
Right.
How many parents do that? How many parents like to hell with that? I recognize my baby.
Right.
Did the man not say, "Nah, I'm gonna do what I want"? And that's that you can't. Our environment now says you can't tell me what to do. It's not just the kids, but they get that from us.
Yeah.
Boy, you just said a mouthful. Mika said at this point, it's a parent problem. And unfortunately, our kids are going to pay for it. They will lack skills on the field and in life. They don't know you destroying the child. All because you want bragging rights to go when you sitting around with your friends to tell them how good your little boy played or your little girl played. You want bragging rights, but at what cost though?
Now you know what though, D? I would shut down the league in Lancaster.
Oh yeah, no ifs and buts about it.
Because those kids ain't gonna be the same no more.
Yeah.
Now and they come, that environment in Lancaster's in some parts can be bad. But the last thing we want to do is expose kids to our ignorance and show how we can be as adults.
Wow.
They should probably shut down the whole thing for the rest of you. I would shut. As a matter of fact, you might have to go somewhere else and get in one of their leagues. I don't deserve the right to come back.
And I hate to say it, and I may be a little bit harsh, but that team, Akiva team, they should be suspended indefinitely out the league. They should never be able to come back to that league.
Wow.
Because you think about it, it was their coaches. You know, from what I'm understanding, it was him and his brother was part of that coaching staff. So
they were. Yep.
Yeah. And I hate to be harsh, but when do we send a message that this will be we cannot put this in our community? We have to stop it.
Right.
Well, because if you put up with it at that age, when they go to high school, now the coaches got to fight that kid and that parent.
Mm-hmm.
Now the coaches, the parents is up at practice in the morning watching the kids, or they paying them, or they doing something. Because I'm at the game, and this little boy, he had to be 4 foot nothing, and he was starting, and my son would, and I'm saying, whoa. But then you realize after a while what's really going on, and you say, oh, okay, but dude, then now you got to put it with at a higher level now.
Correct.
So if we can't correct some of that stuff at that smaller level, then we in real trouble when they get in high school.
Oh, definitely.
So what do we need to do as a community to address this issue? Because it seems to be a community-wide issue. The coaches come from the community. The parents, of course, come from the community. The kids are being raised in the community. So how do we address this? What do we need to do as a community to address this?
Well, one thing, man, I just hate this. I'm being from that side, from Oak Cliff over there, and I always get a bad rep for doing this kind of foolish stuff. And now we're on the nightly news for doing this kind of foolish stuff. So
national, yeah.
You know, you see what I'm saying?
National news. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a solution, but we need to be more proactive than we are reactive. We need to have a screening process. You should have to submit an application for coaching to a board of people that tell you whether or not you can coach or not. I shouldn't be in my pajamas on one weekend, and next weekend I got a clipboard in my hand, and a gun in my pocket. Something's wrong with that.
Wow.
Something's wrong with that.
Wow.
And to piggyback off you, John, we need to have more awareness of this. This thing has been going on for a while. It's just not to this level, but it's been going on for a while. And a lot of things have to change. Like you said, John, there has to be more screening for coaches. There has to be more, I must say, training for coaches as well, too.
Yeah.
You know, how to handle your parents, how to talk to the referees, how to be better.
That's real, bro. If I'm sitting on my couch last week, I don't know how to do all that. I'm learning on the job.
Exactly.
So we need a lot to make that happen.
So, but my thing is, because you brought up a great point, and my wife deals with trauma and resilience and all this other type of stuff, because we want kids to be resilient, but the parents are not resilient enough to take stuff and in good spirits. They don't know how to do it. But where are the resources going to come from to address this issue? Because you're talking about bringing almost counselor level people in to talk to parents. How about this? I think I saw the problem. Let the kids play in a bubble. Leave the parents outside. Let them watch on the screen. Nobody in there but the coaches. And then the coaches on a short leash too.
The coaches are from the community. If they in the bubble, you might well let the parents in, because they are the parent. That's who the coach is. One of the parents of the kid that's playing.
So what if you make a rule that you can't coach your own kid? Or if you have a kid that plays, you can't coach.
Now, I see where you're going. I do. But a lot of men wouldn't have anything to do with coaching if it wasn't for their kid playing, though.
That's true.
A lot of men gonna be sitting on the couch with a cold one in their hand, while the wife take the kids to practice.
And and we need those coaches, but we need the coaches to do it the right way. But let me reverse back. One thing about this that we're forgetting is the trauma that's happening to these kids after this event. These 9-year-olds saw this. They saw a man being shot and killed. They saw fighting. They saw, and from what I understand, the coach that was killed, his son was right there with him.
He was right there. He was right there.
And I agree with Chad. I mean, John and Chad. They have to shut that league down this year. They have to, because it's so much drama to not only the kids, to the parents. To go ahead, John.
Well, one of the concerns is, so nothing is free. Every league you gotta pay money, and so they should put together a hierarchy for all of them, and the board has to should police it, because somebody has to police this thing. Now we just paying money to everybody running amok. No. After every game, it need to be reviewed and talked about, and saying this is not what we're gonna do. This right here. This is not. We're not gonna have y'all parents acting no fool. We'll send you to the car. We'll have no parents in the stand. You got to sit in your car. Do it, because you have to do something. You have to.
Now Chauncey says, make it school district park regulated. Most of these games are help on school or public parks. Stricter bylaws. Yeah, you put some stricter bylaws in, man. You gotta, and I'm talking about football. I know basketball is a whole different thing, but because it's happened with football, I was watching a video. Reggie sent me a video about the what's the name of the show? The podcast, the guy, the pivot. And they had Warren Sapp on there. Warren Sapp, Hall of Fame defensive tackle. And Warren Sapp said, because he talked about concussions and the whole nine, he said, you probably shouldn't let kids play until after 14. He says because between 10 and 14, their brains are still developing.
Okay.
Is that even a concern?
Now, see, okay. I'm a parent, I'm a dad, and again, I'm looking for something for my kids to do. So now they either got to play when they in those years of 6, 7, pop 1 years, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now you telling me I gotta wait. Now, but this is the thing. If y'all don't get y'all act together with these kids and acting the fool at these games, they should do that. They should stop them from playing anyway. Because explain to me who is benefiting. Anybody, raise your hand. Hey, just anybody. Woo woo. Woo! Just tell me who is benefiting. Because certainly it's not benefiting the kids.
Right.
Explain to me. And if you can't explain to me who is benefiting, then perhaps we don't need to be playing.
Wow. That's a great point, man. It's a great point.
Everything should be kid first, man. Everything should be kid. And if it's not, get them rascals out of here.
And another thing that people don't talk about is the quality of referees as well. But if you look around some of these leagues, the quality of referees is not going to pay for some of the money that it's what you're going to pay them. Some of these referees in some of these leagues are probably getting paid $30 a game, and the game lasts an hour, hour and a half. A lot of good referees are like, hey, we're not going up in there for that amount of money. So,
wow.
Not if I got to wear a vest, a bulletproof vest, I ain't going in there.
And I'm being honest, exactly. So I'm just talking about youth league. Now I'm not talking about, of course, high school and all that's totally different. Public schools is different, but I'm just talking about youth league. And
right.
And now I don't know if you've seen this online that referees was fighting back in the basketball game. Did you see the referees fighting?
Listen,
yeah.
They should be held. They should be held to the standards that the high school kids are held to. That way, it makes the transition easier, and you know what we're not putting up with.
Correct.
Chad said, aren't there coaches meetings before the season to address issues and code of conduct and other issues? Do they have a meeting for that with all the coaches?
I don't know, but I'm gonna say this. There is no heat of the moment going on at the coaches meeting. Yeah. There is no bad calls going on at the coaches meeting. There's no parent yelling in your ear at the coaching meeting. There's no parents begging you to put their son in and calling you everything but a child of God at the coaching meeting. You have to almost, you know what? Somebody should have to co-sign for you to coach. Somebody should have. You should have You should have references from your church, your pastor.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
because you know
Somebody
why?
say this.
You know why?
This boy
Because
fool.
you in charge of my kids.
Right. And see, in basketball, when you start going in select or AAU basketball at a certain age, you have to get NCAA certified. And NCAA certified, they run a background check. So they may need to be certifying at these younger age groups as well, you know. But at a certain age group in AAU basketball, select basketball, you have to be certified, especially if you're talking to coaches, you're trying to get these kids into different colleges. So, and you take this little training course they have, but but this youth league football and youth league basketball, some of that stuff, no, that's not going on.
Then we might need to hold off until they can be certified at their level.
Right.
I mean, you hate to penalize the kids because a lot of the kids, I mean, I had fun playing. I started playing football in 5th grade. I had fun. It wasn't, I didn't like losing when we lost, but just being out there, having something to do, you know what I'm saying? It was good. Right. But now we got to penalize the kids because adults won't act right. Coaches, parents, all of the foolishness, the kids have to suffer as a result. Samantha says they basically just talk about practices, what times kids need to be at the games and uniforms, not much about behavior. So Samantha said they ain't even talk about behavior. They just worried about you showing up playing.
And a lot of times it really depends on the organization, especially in basketball. Like I was under North Texas Elite. We did have certain rules that they want us to follow and standard, but it wasn't, if we got too far out of the line, of course, but I played sports, so I wasn't trying to. Have I got a technical tech before? Yes. What coach has not got tech before, but it wasn't never to a point that I'm threatening referees or fighting. No, not to that. It's not worth all that. But some organizations are ran pretty well in which they have conducts, rules. Hey, if you get out of line or if you have a complaining parent, they'll go to the head of the organization. So it just really depends on the organization sometimes as well.
We got the Fifth Beatle, I like that name. The Fifth Beatle says, I knew the world had gotten bad when I found out funeral directors had to start carrying guns because of crazy family members. Wow. But this is horrible. These parents are crazy now. I used to take my nephews to their games and they would ignite then. It's like a never-ending cycle.
They were ignorant.
Oh, ignorant. Okay. I got you. You say they were ignorant then. My bad.
Yeah.
I ain't have my Ebonics cap on. So I missed that. No, this is something kids need something to do, especially kids in certain neighborhoods. They need something to do. And I applaud those who are doing things productively with kids that need that guidance, because I didn't grow up in a house with my dad. And so the next male figure that I had in authority was a coach. And I learned a lot from coaches in the whole nine. So, sports have their pluses, but we got to get rid of the minuses, man. So these kids can really develop.
And that, we talking about the coaches a lot, but we really need to talk to these moms and dads. That's a big problem as well, too. Right. A lot of it is coming from the parents. It's not even coming from the coach. When refereeing, you hear some of the coaches, but it's a lot coming from moms. Notice I said moms and dads, from both.
Right.
And I hate to say it, it has to be some sort of conduct policy for them as well.
Yeah. And be realistic. Lil Ray might be the fastest in the neighborhood, but there are plenty of neighborhoods around the country. And the chance of him being the fastest in all the neighborhoods is very slim. Let's just be realistic.
And Ray bad as hell. So let's let's start focusing on just more than coaching. Let's try to get his little behind and sit down somewhere and learn how to act. Right. Because if he can learn that, man, we winning.
Yeah,
we winning.
Yeah, you'll be amazed at how many talented kids get left out because they don't know how to behave themselves. Correct. They miss out on great opportunities simply because of behavior. And we're supposed to be teaching that when they're this age. And we're missing the important lessons for a win at a game that you might get a trophy for. Come on now.
And that book gonna be this big. That book the name gonna be spelled wrong on it. And in 2 years you're gonna forget about it anyway.
Exactly.
Hey, we need to put some more life back in the lessons.
You're right about that. All right, we're down to our final thoughts. Mr. Reggie.
My final thought. Parents, coaches, please say this with me. It's not about me. Let sports help teach kids about life. Let kids enjoy sports. Let you enjoy sports. Because, sports gets us through tough times in life. So let's continue to enjoy sports. Don't take the fun away from life.
That's my final thought.
My final thought.
My final thought today is anybody on the sidelines, anybody in the stands, sit your ass down somewhere. The game is for them kids, and how dare you take the fun out of it for those kids. You done live your life. You done lived in there barefooted and slew-footed. Sit your ass down somewhere and do not take that fun from those kids. Listen, it ain't that much out there for them anyway, and I thank God for the people that are out there helping. But the rest of y'all, sit y'all ass down. And that's my final thought.
The Bible talks about where there's no vision, the people cast off restraint. And that passage talks about discipline. Discipline is going to carry you further in life than anything else. I don't care how smart you are, how talented you are. If you don't have discipline, it's all for nothing. And here, if you have an opportunity for kids to learn some discipline from somebody other than you, somebody who knows more about discipline than you do, give them the opportunity. As long as they're not abusing the kids, let them work with the kids and let them teach the kids, because it's about further down the road. We get so caught up in the moment that we miss what's really important. There is a lot we lose by being short-sighted. Take the opportunity to learn your kid, learn who they are, learn their limits, and start to teach them how to discipline themselves accordingly, so that whether they're in sports or out of sports, they can still be successful in life. Will they make it to the pros? Who knows? Because that's years down the road. But what can you put in them right now that will carry them until they leave this planet? That's what's most important. So we need to focus on what's most important and begin to get ourselves together and do what's best for these kids. Because if they're the future, it doesn't look bright unless we're teaching them right. And that's our King Speak for this week. Hold on, they muted you, man. They muted you. There he is. What's going on?
D, you cold.
Yeah. You nice with it, D.
Yeah, you cold, man. That was good.
It, man. I had good coaches. No, man. We want to appreciate Mr. Love for being on with us tonight, man. Definitely appreciate you sitting in with us, sharing your expertise about the subject. Mika says, I done screamed, John. John was serious tonight, y'all.
Yeah, he was.
He was serious.
Dude,
hey, man.
We've taken it. We have literally taken it from the kids, dude. And we doing a lot.
We do too much.
Oh,
We
sit
do
down somewhere.
way too much. We appreciate everybody that hopped on with us tonight. Appreciate everybody for joining into the conversation. Remember, if you like what we're doing, tell somebody. Let somebody know about Man Talk Mondays. Say, I heard about these two guys. The show is Man Talk Mondays. Man-talk. Make sure you put that dash, that hyphen in there, because we got some imposters out there. I just want to let y'all know. They ain't the real deal. We the real deal over here. But let the people know about the show. We got great content. Make sure you go check out our podcast on your favorite podcast platform and check us out at your leisure. Right? We appreciate everybody. We're going to catch y'all.
Thank you for coming, Reggie.
Appreciate you, Reggie. Love.
Man, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm glad that somebody picked up my email and my text messages and all the letters that I wrote in to be on the show. So I appreciate that. Whoever that was, thank you.
The calendars finally came together. You know what I'm saying? You busy, we busy. You know how I go, man. You know how I go. We appreciate it, man. We got to get you back on another time, man. Yeah. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank you for your time. We're going to catch y'all next week. Peace out.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.